transportation issue in Missoula and beyond, because it is a concentric circle kind of thing. So, Bob Giordano.
Here comes chugging up there.
Hello. Yes. I wrote a one-page thing, and I'll read it to you in a second, but about 6 years ago, I helped start the Free Cycles bike program, and we've given away about 1,000 bicycles in the last 6 years. We've had 2,000 donated, and so bicycling was my start, and what I realized right away was you can't isolate bicycling from the rest of the whole transportation system, so it's been a quest to figure out what makes a transportation system work. And it's certainly connected to global issues like oil and everything else going on in the world. Justice, loud and clear. The Global Justice Action Summit is being put together by Partners for Global Justice and Sustainable Communities. Why does it matter? Why do we need a partnership? Why can't little old Missoula do our thing and continue to build the best possible community? The answer is simple. If one person is the victim of injustice, we are all victims. If one person suffers from corporate globalization, we all suffer. No matter if that person is 10,000 miles away. The principles of truth and nonviolence do not stop at the border. We are all in this together. Corporations were formed to provide for the common good, the public good, the good of society. They were not formed to create profit for shareholders. We can return to the original intention of the corporation. We can once again have fair, moral, decent corporations, but only with the attention of everyone, you and I included, to make it happen. My organization, the Missoula Institute for Sustainable Transportation, MIST, is working with citizens, businesses, and governments throughout the world, especially here in Missoula, to bring about the best possible walking, cycling, and transit system. Driving should be a choice and not a necessity. Increasingly, though, global issues such as oil subsidies, closed political processes, and unfair international trade make it tough for single communities such as Missoula to realize our dreams and become sustainable. Yet we can overcome these obstacles and help each other meet our basic needs. All citizens of the earth should have access to good food, decent shelter, safe movement, clean air and water, strong family, and supporting community. It is in this spirit that brings forth the Global Justice Action Summit. Everyone's help is needed to create positive change. We are all in this together. No one gets left out. As important global decisions are getting made, let's make sure our leaders hear us. Let's make sure our decision makers hear us. Let's make sure our neighbors, our friends and family hear us loud and clear, with respect and civility. That the rights of all people matter, the rights of all life matter, the rights of the earth matter. Human justice, life justice, earth justice. Through justice, we can unite and build sustainable communities. Through justice, we can unite and build a better world for all. Thank you.
Parasuayo, Omo nyala wana mama kenirao, O Paraguayo, Eke, Eshodara, Omo nyala wana mama kenirao, Parasuayo. Bye. All right, and our next speaker is Corinne Lagarde, and Lagarde. I had it right before, but then I screwed up. Okay, Corinne was one of the coordinators of Freedom Days last year. She organized with many others, including International Human Rights Week. She is also involved in various other women's rights organizations in Missoula, including the Women's Center, the YWCA, SARS, and others. She's the co-founder of RECAT. Now, you'll probably talk about that. And today she's going to be talking about women's rights and in their many forms.
Hi! So the first thing I'm going to do is ask that all the ladies and the women and the little women come on stage. So I asked certain people to come up here, so if you could come up here. Mom. Yeah, just come in front. Anyone? Come on, women, come on, women! Women on the stage! Women on the stage! Summoning women! Here you go! Coming on stage! Oh wait, actually off the stage, sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah, so just come around this way. Let's come around this way. Wow, this is quite the turnout. This is fabulous.
Now I'm going to have to back up.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be asking a bunch of questions. So don't get nervous, ladies. It's not a big deal. Some of you know what to do. You know what I'm saying? So you might not know how to answer these, and there's a reason for that. So when I ask you, just say, I don't know, whatever you want to say. So, you're first. Here we go. Okay, so when was the last time that you felt unsafe to walk home at night when you were walking home from a bar or a friend's house because you thought you would be assaulted? Oh, not since I moved to Missoula. Really? Not since you moved to Missoula? In Texas, I wasn't afraid. Texas? Yeah, Texas is kind of a scary place sometimes. Oh, excuse me. Did that make you a little mad that you had to be unsafe? I mean, that's cool. I don't know. Not really. It's kind of an urban thing. An urban thing. All right. Well, I'm going to give you a little statistics, and I'm going to tell you why I think that that's not a good thing to be unsafe, and why I think that's actually a violation of women's rights. So, I'm going to tell you all that 1 in 3 women and 1 in 10 men will be raped in their lifetime. And that 1 in 5 women, while in college, will also be raped in their lifetime. And 90% actually of those rapes are acquaintance rapes. And 14% of married American women are raped by their partners. So I'm not saying this to scare you, I'm just saying that this is a violation of women's rights. And to get involved in prevention or direct services, you can contact the YWCA or SARS. So who's next? Who's next? Rita! Woo! All right, Rita, here you go. When was the last time that you got cervical cancer that was likely contributed to dioxins in tampons, water, or the environment?
The last time?
Yeah, the last time.
Let's see, it's been a few times.
A few times.
Because, I'm a global woman.
Because you're a global woman. All right. Well, since you're wondering why I asked that question, is that dioxins are actually found in tampons and other environmental factors that contribute to dioxin waste and products. And in tampons, they are actually in the chemical bleaching process, and they get released into the vagina, which causes cancer. So some alternatives to tampons are menstrual rags and whatnot, and that's Redcat, that's my business, I have to do a little plug. So if you want to get some tampons, you can call, or excuse me, not tampons, menstrual rags, you can call redcatpers@hotmail.com, or talk to me. And Weave, which is Women's Voices for the Earth, also does a lot on environmental hazards and dioxins and how they affect women in breast cancer and whatnot. Who's next? Who's next? Mom! Hi, Mom. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
You didn't think you were going to get brought up here, did you?
I knew I was going to get brought up.
Oh, okay. So, Mom, when was the last time that you found yourself in rural Montana? Okay, you're from Jersey, I know that. You have 3 kids. You and your partner, whoever that might be, decide that they can't afford to bring another kid into this world. Don't answer in that way. And because they're poverty, they don't want to bring their another kid into this world. And you couldn't afford to get an abortion, and you couldn't afford the travel costs. When was the last time that happened?
To me, never, but other people I know it does.
Okay, yeah, Mom, that's good answer. Way to go, Mom. All right. So, this is a fact, that women who live in rural, you're stepping on the mic for women who live in areas far from cities have a hard time getting travel money to get safe, legal abortions for a surgical procedure. So if you want to get involved with that, you can contact Blue Mountain Clinic or Planned Parenthood. Who's next? Amy, you're next. Okay, this is a hard one. Okay, so when was the last time the government told you, that you needed to marry your partner in order to receive cash assistance, otherwise known as welfare, to make ends meet?
The government hasn't told me that yet.
Oh, they haven't? Why haven't they yet? Do you know?
Well, I haven't applied for welfare yet.
Right, good answer. Okay, well, they might tell people that, and there's actually a bill that's coming into Congress that's going to be passed or not passed, hopefully not passed, called Family Formation, aka the Fatherhood Initiative. And the Fatherhood Initiative is restrictive and a violation of women's rights for a number of reasons, but the main one is that, well, I'll tell you a little bit about it first. Fatherhood Initiative pretty much makes incentives to women to marry their partners in order for them to receive cash assistance. And women that are in violent relationships, domestic violence, oftentimes will be forced to marry their abusive partner. It doesn't give the choice to marry, it takes away that pretty clearly. Takes away the focus on the issue, which the issue is poverty, not marriage. And also discriminates against queers and gays because obviously in a lot of states you can't marry your partner. So if you want to get involved in that issue, you can contact WHEEL, which is working for equality and economic liberation. This is a really hard one. Yeah, what's your name? Leslie. Okay, this is a hard one. So, when was the last time your country was in a war? We're in a war right now, technically. But soldiers came to your house. This is a hard one. And they took you away. And they took you to a place where they didn't tell you where you were going. But they're commonly referred to now as rape camps. And then at this place, you were brutally raped, for months by various soldiers. And the hardest part is that you knew that you were one out of 20 to 50,000, 50,000 Muslim women being raped. When was the last time that happened?
It hasn't happened to me.
It hasn't happened to you.
I don't live in Indonesia.
Or a lot of places really in this world. So my point is that this happens a lot during wars, and it's important for us to get a gender perspective on wars and see how women are maneuvered and militarized through that process. Actually, in the former Yugoslavia, which is the case that I was just talking about, in 1992, which wasn't too far from now, only 10 years ago, 200,000 Serbian women, Croatian women, and Muslim women were forced into these mass rape detention centers and brutally raped for months on and off in a period of time. This isn't the happiest subject, I know. So to get involved with that, there is a positive. You can contact humanrights.org and get more information, or the Division of the Advancement of Women, or Amnesty International, to get involved or get more information. There's a lot more. I'm going to skip one. Okay. And Amnesty is over there, by the way. They're not waving. Okay. Get this one over there. Hi. What's your name?
Ayla.
Ayla. Hi, Ayla. Okay. This is a hard one, too. So when was the last time that you were on a diet, or you beginning to experience some bulimic characteristics or tendencies, because you and your friends, your girlfriends, get together and they hang out, and they talk about how beautiful these women are that they see in the TV and the magazines and whatnot and so forth. So when was the last time that was an issue for you?
It still affects me.
Does it still affect you?
Not the bulimia or anything, but it did greatly when I was in my teens
When you were in your
and 20s.
Do you think that this is an issue that affects a lot of young women and men?
I think it affects a lot of young women and men.
Yeah, I think it does too. And so in your interpretation of this, what would be the violation here against women and human rights, or how do they correlate?
I think the violation easily would be just the fact that the old exploitation and just manufacturing a false image of what a woman is.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, actually. In fact, 50% of all teenage girls are dieting, and that was a statistic in 1994, so it might have increased or decreased since then, I'm not really sure. In Montana, 55% of 7th to 8th grade girls are dieting or using some method of weight control, and 63% of 9th to 12th grade girls are dieting, and that was a 95 statistic. And to get involved with that, you can contact the Women's Center or other organizations that deal with women's issues, because it's a big one. And the last one, Angie Parker! Come here. Hi, Angie.
Hi, Corinne.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Okay. So, this is a hard one. You all right? Okay. When was the last time that you were forced, kind of talked into, by your family members or whoever, into getting circumcised, female circumcised, by the age 13?
Well, I haven't been.
You haven't been? But you've heard that this happens in some other cultures?
Sure.
Sure, okay. And this is a bit controversial, and I know, but I'll give you the statistics and you can kind of decide for yourself where the violation comes in. So female genital mutilation has been forced on 80 to 100 million girls in countries where most practice, which is mostly Africa. About 2 million young girls can expect the knife or razor or a shard or a glass to cut their clitoris or remove it altogether. And if you want more information or to get involved with that, you can contact the Female Genital Mutilation Research homepage at www.hollyfield.org. So that's it. Thank you very much for coming up here. And I'm almost done. You can go sit down. So I hope that, thank you, drummer. I hope that you can make these connections that I kind of give you case examples of into how women are mobilized and some of the gender politics that happen in our country and internationally. And to kind of wrap these themes together for you, I'm going to read a little poem. It's very brief. And it goes a little something like this. Because women's work is never done, and it is underpaid or unpaid or boring or repetitious, and we're the first to get the sack, and and what we look like is more important than what we do. And if we get raped, it's our fault. And if we get bashed, we must have provoked it. And if we raise our voices, we're nagging bitches. And if we enjoy sex, we're nymphos. And if we don't, we're frigid. And if we love women, it's because we can't get a real man. And if we ask our doctor too many questions, we're neurotic and or pushy. And if we expect community care for children, we're selfish. And if we stand up for our rights, we're aggressive and unfeminine. And if we don't, we're typical weak females. And if we want to get married, we're out to trap a man. And if we don't, we're unnatural. And because we still can't get an adequate safe contraceptive, but men can walk on the moon. And if we can't cope or don't want a pregnancy, we're made to feel guilty about abortion. And for lots and lots of other reasons, we are part of the women's liberation movement. So, and it says, greetings to women everywhere, so greetings. And this was posted on a wall poster in London, England. So, lastly, actually, to get involved in some other organizations in the Missoula community, you can contact WORD, which is Women's Opportunity Resource Development, or WHEEL, which I mentioned before, which is Working for Equality and Economic Liberation, or WEAVE, which is Women's Voices for the Earth, or YWCA Pathways, SARS, Student Assault Recovery Service on campus, Blue Mountain Clinic, Planned Parenthood, Missoula Indian Center, and then to connect some of these themes with what Global Jazz is doing, you can get on shewire.com and find out what's at stake for women in the WTO, World Bank, and IMF. And that is it. Thank you for listening.
In the streets, yes, to the people with too little to eat.
Rita Jankowski Bradley talk, and she's going to talk about external third world debt relief. Rita's a member of several groups in Missoula. She's a member of Missoula Women for Peace. She's a member of Community Action for Justice in the Americas, and she's helping to organize the Action Summit this summer. So Rita, why don't you come up here and talk about debt relief?
Hello. Economic domination by rich countries over poor countries is being called the new slavery. Many are voicing a new call that the developing countries' external debt is no longer an issue of payability, but of legitimacy. Debt justice will be a major forum topic in the Global Justice Forum, and I have a poem I wrote to give you an idea of what people are talking about in terms of legitimacy. The child of poverty asks, the children of half the world ask, where are you, sweet peace? Where has justice gone? Why is the water of life for sale? Why is my childhood robbed of its joy? My sweat used to toil in factories, on corporate farms, on the streets, condemned to hunger wages, while I yearn to learn, to become a dignified member of humanity. Why do I suffer from sickness? Where is my health care? What is this new slavery that chains me to the daily struggle for survival? Why am I hungry in a land of fertile soil? Why am I hungry in a land that feeds the rich in the north? Why do I sleep in a makeshift shelter while others live in grand houses? Why do I pay with my childhood for the debt burden that enslaves 3 generations of my people? While I yearn to learn, to become a dignified member of humanity. The people of the Global South ask, who owes who? Who owes for the resources extracted from our land? The exploitation of our minerals and our rainforests, the lungs of the planet. Who owes for the knowledge lost from the generations who are deprived of an education? Who owes for the lost hopes, the lost lives, for the 19,000 children who die daily due to debt? Who owes for the lost genetic and cultural heritage? Who owes for the loss of ancestral lands and for the collective wisdom of the indigenous people, the hope of the planet endangered by greed and exploitation? Who pays for the lost wealth of community when people lose their rural livelihood? Who owes, who pays? The voices of Jubilee, religious and secular both, from more than 60 countries say, no more to debt injustice. Across the many lands of the Global South comes a new call. Don't owe, won't pay. A resounding chorus from Jubilee answers, life for the people, not debt. Cancel the debt now.
right. I'm going to pass it to Scott now.
Come on over, Gary. Yeah, my name is Scott Nicholson with Community Action for Justice in the Americas, and we work in solidarity with the people of Latin America in the struggle for economic and social justice and environmental sustainability. We work to educate our community about U.S. military and economic intervention in Central and South America and what we can do about that. I'd like to talk a little bit about one of our main campaigns is around Colombia. In the last 3 years, our government has given over $1.3 billion to the military and police in Colombia. The military and police there maintain relations with the paramilitaries, which are armed civilians. They're responsible for about 4/5 of all the human rights violations committed in Colombia. In addition to that, since December of 2000, our government has supported the spraying of over 230,000 acres in Colombia with the herbicide glyphosate. Roundup manufactured by Monsanto, supposedly to destroy the coca crops there in Colombia. Colombia is also the most dangerous country in the world to be a union activist. There are more unionists that are killed in Colombia every year than all the other countries of the world combined. And recently, President Bush has requested increased U.S. support for the military and police in Colombia, and we've got information on our table about that. He would like Congress to approve a bill. There's an emergency supplemental bill before Congress right now for another $27 billion for the war on terrorism and homeland security. And that includes a large section on Colombia that, if passed, would enable all past and current aid going down to Colombia to be used directly in the war against the guerrillas there, which would signify the U.S. getting much more involved in the war in Colombia. And also it calls for $6 million for the initial training of a special military brigade to protect the Caño Limón-Coveñas pipeline, which is used to transport oil owned by Occidental Petroleum. And he's also requesting another $374 million for the military and police in the next fiscal year. So that's what we're working on in relation to Colombia. Again, we've got letters on the table there addressed to Congressman Rehberg. The emergency supplemental is going to be coming up for a vote on Wednesday. We'd like to make sure that he hears from us and he votes for amendments to change what Bush is requesting towards Colombia. So with that, I'll turn it over to some folks who have recently been down to Colombia to talk about their experiences.
My name is Katie Crawley, and I went down with Witness for Peace with Leslie McCollman, right here on my right. And we went to Colombia with Witness for Peace. I just said that. She's going to give a little blurb about it, and I'll talk in a minute. So.
Thank you, Katie. Once again, my name's Leslie. Thank you all for coming down. I think this is going to be a really good show. I want you all to come get down. So as Katie said, we went to Colombia recently. We were there for only about 2 weeks, which was a little bit short of an amount of time to really be able to see firsthand what is going on in Colombia. But nevertheless, it was a powerful experience. I read a quotation recently that said, "The Holocaust is not the story of one Jew murdered 6 million times told over again." And that really impacted me in a way that, I don't know, it's the only way I know how to describe what I saw in Colombia. You hear statistics about how many thousands of people are killed, but to really think about the breach of freedom on an individual basis and the lack of freedom, which is what we're here to celebrate, that so many people in Colombia are suffering. It's really horrendous, and I'm appalled to say that my country is a part of it. And it's for that reason that I've gotten involved in CAHA and that we're doing the work that we're doing. And it's to educate people about the role that the U.S. is having in places like Colombia. We're funding the military, as Scott said. The military is committing some gross atrocities. If you'd like to know more about that, we have plenty of paperwork that you can look over at the table, or we'd be glad to share with you on an individual level the things that we saw. Our trip basically consisted of interviews and group conversations with people who are doing organizing work, environmental organizing, social justice organizing, labor leaders, and a multitude of other organizations. And these are people who are being persecuted for the work that they're doing. For me, it's my responsibility now to be back in the U.S. and to be telling you that this is happening.
So thank you again for coming down. I'm going to pass it off to Katie to talk a little bit about Witness for Peace and the work that she's doing to organize in the Missoula community and to get other folks down to Columbia so that they can see the things that we saw and so that they can feel that solidarity with the Colombian people. So thank you.
Hello again. Thank you. I do want to talk to you about Witness for Peace, but I also want to encourage everyone to learn more about Colombia and about what our government does in not only Colombia but across the world. We have been working on a lot of issues. CAHA is a great group, and we've been trying to reach our representatives. So it's really important that you go to our table and sign some letters, and it makes a big difference. So if all of you sitting around here can stand up on your way to the beer table and sign a letter, we'd really appreciate it. Not too far away from the beer. Very, very great location. But I do want to say that I am organizing a delegation to Colombia with Witness for Peace in February. If anyone's interested, it is going to be focusing on the effects of U.S. oil interests, both present and future interests in Colombia, and the effects on the environment, labor, and activists around Colombia. So if anyone's interested and wants to talk to me about it, I will be around. Like Leslie said, we would be more than happy to talk to you about our experiences in Colombia and get you down there. So I'm going to pass this off to Ryan, and he can tell you some of the things we've all been doing in the last few months.
Hello, my name is Ryan Rossing. I'm the outgoing coordinator for the UN chapter of Amnesty International. We've got part of the table over there. We've got a lot of urgent actions that have come out in the last 2 weeks. It seems like a little act, but if you were to take one of those urgent actions and write a letter on behalf of someone aforementioned that is risking their life right now for the work that they do, it'd make a big difference. I'm also a member of Community Action for Justice in the Americas, and 13 of us just went to DC for the Columbia mobilization. It was 4 days of workshops and lobbying and protest around U.S. intervention in Colombia. 13 of us met with Senator Max Box's office, and we're working on a fair trade route for organically grown chocolate from our sister community in Colombia. So a lot of good things are going on. I don't know. I'll let Gary Hughes speak for a minute. He's a member of CAHA who's been working in Chile and Argentina on issues.
Thank you, Ryan. Muchas gracias a todos de ustedes por venir por acá esta noche y juntarnos abajo del sol lindo y celebrar lo que tiene Missoula para ofrecer al mundo. I'd like to thank all of you for coming here this evening and showing the world what Missoula has to offer. My name is Manny Hughes. I've just recently returned to the States from Chile and Argentina, and I'm working directly with Community Action for Justice in the Americas and with Native Force Network. There are reasons for us to be concerned about the activities of the United States government in Latin America. In Chile, after a fierce lobby by Lockheed Martin and a great deal of political maneuvering, previously by the Clinton administration and then by the Bush administration, the Chilean government was convinced to spend $600 million in the purchase of 10 F-16 airplanes. But of course the catch is that they didn't get the bombs, just the planes. For $600 million, in 1995 it was estimated that with $500 million, the lands that were needed and are needed to secure biodiversity conservation in Chile could be put into trust. But our government is more interested in promoting the sale of military and war apparatus than promoting the conservation of biodiversity. But when I come back to the States and I see the kind of organizing that's going on in Missoula, especially as I've kept track of the Global Jazz Conference, which is happening June 20th to 24th. I find it to be very exciting. Missoula has a great deal to offer to the world and to your community members, and that's why I'm going to boldly step forward now and ask everyone to continue showing the world what it is that you have to offer by making that extra little effort to help out people who have been putting things on the line as far as promoting human rights and justice in the Americas. There are 3 Missoula community members who are dealing with legal obligations from having committed civil disobedience. And we're raising money to help with their legal defense fund. So we're encouraging Missoulians, the people who are here tonight, this evening, to take that extra little step. And on your way to buy beer, yes, check out the fishbowl on the caja table and throw in a little bit more of that hard cash, los dólares que se usan en todas las Américas. Yes, your dollars are good everywhere, and they're definitely good to help with this legal defense fund. So we can support Summer, Leslie, and Ryan in their travel costs and their legal costs. So please, let's give these young people a round of applause for all the work that they're doing, and definitely put in some cash for the legal defense fund. Thank you very much, and I think we're going to have some good music.
Thank you so much, y'all. How you doing, Missoula? We are GFC. Thank you so much for coming out, y'all.
Would you like it out of control? You can hear folks start running. That's the most dangerous stuff that you're doing all every day with the real things that you should appreciate. Like chilling at the beach when you go out the dark when it was super in the park. Find a time to skip it with your little crew calling grandma to say I was thinking of you. How about getting people with it? You know you'll never quit because it ain't just about love, so you can't admit it. What I'm getting at is that it's the simple things that make it all worthwhile. Doing towards your love, the way a baby smiles. Taking an inch when you give it back a mile. Walking my plan with taste style. Hearing my own music when I feel the die. Tuesdays, it ain't all about the Benjamins. More important that you don't forget your vitamins. If you ain't got your health, think about those swings. That's what I mean by the simple things. You gotta keep yourself in check so you lose it all. If you ain't got no balance, you can play ball. Everybody wants to know what you do to this. Keep it simple. I say that shit.